Name a sport weirder than golf. It has way too many bizarre rules that we can't wrap our heads around, and we bet even the players can't remember them all. But not all rules have to be written. Today, we'll talk about the TikTok influencer who got fined for hitting a golf ball into the Grand Canyon after sharing it with her 7 million followers, and also diving into some of the strangest golf rules incidents on tour. First off, this TikToker wasn't a very smart birdie. With a following of 7 million followers, you would expect influencers to not break rules and record them for the world to see. Well, not Katie Sigmond. She created a video on 26 October of hitting a golf ball very intentionally into the Grand Canyon and shared it for the world to see. In the video, she stood near the edge of the Grand Canyon, smiling for the phone camera, and swung her club at the golf ball that flew into the canyon. The club too fell out of her hand. Sharing her stunt the same day on TikTok, she asked her followers how did that happen, but her followers were disappointed. People started calling her out for such a stupid act, which embarrassed her enough to remove the video. Even the authorities wanted to know, how does one go around littering the country's most iconic parks in broad daylight? Who did it? Next, Sigmond wasn't too good at covering her tracks. It didn't take long for them to find out. The viewers tipped off the authorities that the culprit was Katie Sigmond, a TikTok influencer who posts workout and modeling videos, and occasionally clips of her flexing her golf skills on driving ranges and courses. It's always one of the TikTok influencers, right? Sure enough, she got a lot of backlash after the National Park Service posted her original video on its Reddit page. We have to admit, we kind of felt bad for Katie when the Grand Canyon National Park released a statement on their Facebook group saying, "Do we really need to say don't hit golf balls into the Grand Canyon?" Talk about secondhand embarrassment. Even the New York Times picked up on the news, revealing that the 20-year-old stunt had charged her with littering, tossing items into the Grand Canyon, and putting people at risk. Not to mention she admitted parking rangers it was her fault. Sigmond came clean to the authorities. What happened to her? Well, the case was resolved in an out-of-court agreement where she was handed a fine. We don't exactly know how big the penalty was, but a spokesperson of the Grand Canyon National Park's Office of Public Affairs, Joelle Baird, shared that the fines in similar cases can reach up to $280. Yikes. And we can tell the authorities at this point are tired of tourists and TikTok influencers trashing the park. Yes, this was far from a one-time thing. Rocks, coins, good luck charms, you name it, and people have thrown it over the canyon. What makes this more dangerous than just bad littering is that when people toss objects or walk off the trail and dislodge things, it can really hurt the hikers and wildlife below. In some cases, it can even start landslides. Long story short, don't throw a golf ball or any other ball into the Grand Canyon. It's not worth it. What can be more embarrassing than the whole internet mob calling you out for breaking golf rules? But believe it or not, there have been funnier and far more embarrassing golf incidents that have happened on the tour itself. And we have to admit, some of these are unforgettable, pun intended. For starters, don't shoot the ball into your bag. This one goes way back, but in the first round of the 1987 Players' Championship, something weird happened. Raymond Floyd's caddy was walking ahead of him before he teed off on the 11th hole at TPC Sawgrass. But when the poor caddy got to the point where he thought his boss was most likely to end up, he put his golf bag down in the rough with the top portion of the bag facing the tree. Yep, you can tell where this is going, right? So it turns out that the caddy, Eddie Terrell, was almost too good at predicting where the ball would go. Floyd's ball ended up in the rough and right into his own golf bag. Seeing the ball heading for the bag, Terrell had rushed to get the bag out of the way but was too late. Floyd walked up to Terrell and asked, "Where's my ball?" He replied, "In your bag." Apparently the player took it very well, responding, "Well, It was those bizarre moments where his bag was 260 yards away, almost like making a hole-in-one on a par 4. We'd call that a once-in-a-lifetime lucky shot, but not the rules, sadly, as this violated Rule 19.2, that a moving ball can't be deflected or stopped by equipment of player or partner or your caddy. That got him a 2-shot penalty. You could say he almost had it in the bag. Up next, stay out of the woods. This wasn't the only penalty Floyd got that day. In the very same round, there was delay in the game due to the rain, but when the players returned to the course after the delay, Floyd asked his playing partner, Sev Ballesteros, if he'd want to loosen up and hit a few balls into the woods before the play officially resumed. Ballesteros said he's down, and off they went. But little did they know, Rule 33-2C prohibits players from practicing in non-practice areas on any day or between rounds. Yep, that got our boys a penalty of 2 strokes. Some days you just can't win, right? Coming up, we have Tiger Woods' that drop in the 2013 Masters.
Beautiful pitch. This gimme range. Good bird.
Now this one's hilarious because no one would have noticed had Woods hadn't said what he said. His third shot into 15 in the second round rebounded unluckily off the flagstick into the water. To do this, he had to replay the shot from where he had originally played, but he sneakily went a couple of yards further back to prevent a repeat episode. The funny part is, no one would have noticed had Mr. Woods not blurted it out in an interview. The only reason why he wasn't disqualified was that the Masters officials had deemed that everything was okay before he signed his card. So the chairman of the competition committee, Fred Ridley, met the player himself and they agreed he had violated Rule 26, giving him a 2-stroke penalty. This meant his 6 on that hole became an 8 and finished 4 behind Adam Scott and Angel Cabrera. Maybe next time let's not reveal our fouls on live television. Following up, we also have some noteworthy tree climbing. Who said golf wasn't an extreme sport? There's nothing stopping you from playing your ball wherever you find it, and we mean nothing, not even when your ball goes up a tree. This happened on the 17th hole at Fulford in the 1981 B&H, where Bernhard Langer's ball got stuck into a tree. At this point, he had 2 options. He could either proceed with the unplayable ball rule, but the hilarious incidents happen when the players use the second option and fancy climbing a tree to continue the game. Yep, Langers was assisted by the crowd in climbing a rule that's in the rules and managed to knock it on the green from the tree and 2-putt for bogey. It's harder than it sounds, because while doing all that, you still have to stick to the other rules of not moving the ball while trying to gain access to it. Even Sergio Garcia once tried the stunt. In 2013 at Bay Hill, before playing a one-handed recovery shot, he climbed on a buggy and scaled a tree and ended up playing a one-handed recovery shot. But be careful, Langer later said the exertions tensed his muscles so much he had zero feel for the putt, and Garcia had to withdraw after his Tarzan moment with a shoulder injury. Yep, definitely not try this at home. Next up, feeling leafed out. Matthew Southgate's worst rival on the course wasn't another player, but an annoying leaf. When playing in the final event of the Web.com Tour Finals in 2018, he was well placed to actually win the whole thing and get a PGA Tour card, but the wins were not in his favor. When he had a 6-foot birdie putt on 15 in the final round, a leaf blew across and knocked the ball off the line. Maybe it was just bad luck, or so Southgate thought as he tapped in for par, but at that time, Rule 19.1b against a moving ball being deflected by an outside agency allowed Southgate to cancel the stroke and replay. The trick here was that the rule said must, not may, so not replaying and signing his card, he got a 4-stroke penalty, 2 for playing from a wrong place and 2 more for signing a wrong score. Defeated by a leaf, Southgate went on to finish last in the tournament and missed his PGA Tour card. Lastly, sometimes the win is just written in the stars. Bryson DeChambeau turned heads when he pulled out a compass at the Travelers Championship in June 2018 to help him aim the ball better. Yep, why not just use the stars to give you an edge in the game? But what was more shocking was that when we found out this wasn't the first time he had done this. When the authorities talked to Bryson about the compass, he confessed he's been using it for almost 2 years to determine true pin locations. Sure enough, next week they ruled that the compass violated Rule 14-3. That doesn't allow players to use artificial devices or unusual equipment to help them. Now, some people still felt this was unfair, since using the compass on paper wasn't helping choose a club or know variables like wind direction that wasn't already public knowledge. Golf rules really do get fickle at times. To Bryson, people were just being petty at him playing well, saying, "It's funny people take notice when you start playing well." Was the rule uncalled for? Guess the ban on compasses has left us all feeling truly lost. And that's a wrap for this video. Which bizarre golf rule breaking moment was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Do give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell notification for similar videos. See you in the next one.